thank you so much for having me here. I'm so honored to be able to share my story with all of you today. So, growing up, I really wish I paid a lot more attention to my mental health. Looking back at it, when I was your age, or even, or when I was your age or even a little bit older, it wasn't something that I necessarily paid a lot of attention to, and I really regret that. So before getting into all of this heavy-duty stuff, I will formally introduce myself again. Hi, my name is Deepa. I'm 23 years old, and I am living my ultimate dream life right now. First and foremost, I just graduated university, which is awesome. Seemed like it took forever, but I'm done, thank you. And I'm also the host of the Family Channel, so I get to do a lot of cool things like interview the cast members of different movies, of our shows. And then I'm also the host of Blog TO back home in Toronto. So for that job, I literally just go around, eat food, donuts, ice cream, chicken fingers, talk about it on camera. It's great. So I'm really happy with where my life is right now. But it wasn't always like that. There's something that I struggled with for a very long time, and I kept it bottled up, and that was my struggle with my body image. This all started for me when I was in the 9th grade, and I remember looking into the mirror and not being happy with anything that I saw, from my hair to my braces to my body. And I went through several phases of just like changing everything, cutting my hair, changing my clothes all the time, and looking back at it, I can look back and laugh at it, but at that time, I was really, really sad and uncomfortable with myself, but I overcompensated a lot. I've always had this big, bubbly, happy personality, so if you knew me at that time, you would have had no idea what was going on in my head. And in university, I landed my job as the host of the Family Channel, and then I got my job at Blog TO, so naturally, the more exposure I got, the more I became more insecure about myself. And the sad reality about my job of being on camera, the first thing that people judge you by is what you look like. They know nothing else about you. And I became really self-conscious in terms of my appearance, and I started to pay a lot more attention to what people had to say about me. And I think one of the worst things that you could do is go online and read comments that people write about you. I remember reading some terrible things about people commenting about how annoying I was, what a terrible host I was. People were rating my physical appearance on a scale of 1 to 10, and let me tell you, my rating was not that high. So at that point, I just felt like, what am I supposed to do, right? Like these people, these complete strangers are commenting the most negative things about me online. And that took a toll on my mental health because I started to second guess myself. I started to believe that I didn't deserve to be where I was today, that I wasn't worthy of my own accomplishments, and that is the low point of where I've ever been. And I think I can stand here now and tell you that I'm so happy with where I am, and the only reason I can say that is because I finally was able to open up and talk about what was going on in my head. Sharing stories about my body image issues and stuff like that was a really hard thing for me to deal with because I didn't want people to think that I was weak, that I let peer pressure get to me, because I grew up in this really, really supportive family who've done nothing but encourage me to do awesome things. So one person who's really helped me through this, and I don't even think she knows she helped me through this, is my mom. I remember I was online one day, I was reading some really mean comments that people were writing about me online, and my mom walked in and she's like, "What's wrong?" She completely read the horrors on my face, and I was like, "It's nothing, don't worry about it." And she's like, "No, Deepa, what's wrong?" And it was like the floodgates of truth had opened, word vomit started happening. I started telling her about my insecurities and how these comments made me feel. And that was the first time that I had ever done that. And the best part about my mom is that she doesn't pay attention to what other people say about me. She looked at me, she laughed, and she was like, "And do you actually believe that?" And I stopped for a second and I thought, no, I don't actually believe what they're saying about me. I think up until that point, I was caught in the cycle of wanting to feel sorry for myself. So reading these comments just kept me in that loop. And me, just like anybody else, I needed positive encouragement. So by me talking to my family, my friends, my boyfriend, whoever it was, I finally got that positive reinforcement that I needed for myself. You know, I'm not gonna stand here and tell you that I'm 100% over my insecurities, because I'm not. And I can't promise myself or anyone else that I ever will be. But what I can promise you and myself is that I'm trying. I'm surrounding myself with people who make me genuinely happy, because that is the biggest coping mechanism that I have. You know, feeling that support from everyone made me realize a lot of things. First of all, that I should be valuing their love and support more than what random people have to say about me online, because people will always have negative things to say about me. So when I got into that mindset, you know, I started to realize that I'm okay with who I am. I don't need to compare myself to other people on social media in terms of my looks. I don't need to accept that negativity. And I can say that I'm 100% more confident in myself than I ever was in high school or university. And I think the fact that I'm standing here sharing my deepest, darkest secrets in front of thousands of people shows you how strong I feel in myself right now. And I'm not gonna lie, there are some days where I do feel down. I wake up and I don't feel the greatest. I'm online and I'm reading some really terrible comments. And at this point, I think I've learned just to ignore them. And I think that's something that we all need to try. And I know it is so easy for me to stand here and tell you, just ignore those comments. It took me years and years to build up to this level of being able to read comments, ignore them, maybe even make a joke out of them. And I think especially in this age where we're living in with social media is great. I love social media. I love sharing my adventures and my positivity with everybody. But at the same time, it can be a really heavy place. And I've had some of my saddest moments on social media. And there are days where I just put away my phone, put away my laptop, step away from it all. And that's something that I encourage all of you to do if you ever feel like you need to do that. And not only stepping away from that little world, but also reflecting back on what makes you happy. And I find that that's something that always helps me. And what makes me happy is the support that I get from my family, my friends, my coworkers, my boyfriend. They're the people who do nothing but encourage me to be the best version of me that I could ever be. And they always have faith in me, even when I don't have faith in myself. And I'm so grateful for that. You know, the biggest piece of advice I could give you is just open up and talk to somebody if you're really going through something. I know that sounds so cliche, but that's what helped me. You know, if my mom didn't ask me what was wrong that one day, I probably would have never said anything in the first place. And I want you guys to be a support system for each other. Check in with each other, just see how it's going. Like I said, if nobody asked me that question, I would have never opened up. So I want you guys to be a support system for one another. You know, there's so many things in life that we could spend our time and effort on, more so than comparing what we look like on social media to somebody else, or letting those negative comments drag us down. Focus your time and energy on your school, volunteering, going after your hopes and dreams. And you know, we all have mental health and we all need to take care of it. And I'm a true believer in being 100% happy and confident in yourselves. And that's something that I wish for all of you today. And I cannot say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for having me here today. This is the first time I've ever stood on stage and shared this story with anyone. So this is a really, really big milestone for me. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of all of you. So thank you so much for having me here. Take care.